name is Tim Guerin. This is United Way Today, and I will be speaking with Dana and Elspeth about the VITA program. So Dana, what is the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program?
VITA, which is normally often more heard, stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, and essentially it's a program that offers free tax preparation for households that make less than $54,000 a year. It's a program that's administered by the IRS, but it's held in local communities, such as here at Helping Hand of Hope, which is where we're at today. And trained volunteers actually complete tax returns for the individuals that qualify to ensure that they're getting the most back in the returns that they're eligible for.
Well, Elspeth, can you tell us about the role that you play as a VISTA at the United Way of Central Kentucky?
Yes, well, I am a VISTA, which stands for Volunteer in Service to America, and I'm serving my year of, VISTA, is like the Domestic Peace Corps. You sign up for 12 months of volunteer service, and you are placed with a local nonprofit fighting poverty. I came to Elizabethtown, Kentucky to serve my time, and am there as the Financial Stability VISTA, and have been working on a financial literacy program called Bank On, which helps people get bank accounts, second chance accounts, and have also helped to bring this VITA program to our community.
Dana, what exactly is the role of United Way of Central Kentucky in this VITA program?
Well, the role of United Way actually has been a lot due to Elspeth. We were the one who kind of were behind the bringing it to the community, did the research, reached out to see what we need to do, who we need to contact, how to make this happen, because it is an IRS program, which obviously is a big organization within the government. So cooperating with them, see how we become certified, get a local site on board with us, which is Helping Hand of Hope here in Hardin County, and just going through the process of making sure that we complete the paperwork, we get the volunteers, which has been a big part of what we've done. So Elspeth has been great in her position as the VISTA and bringing it here from start to finish, and it's because of her hard work that we're able to actually offer this to the community this year.
So Elspeth, can you tell us about what exactly you did through your VISTA position to launch this program?
Sure. Well, part of my VISTA position on my VAD, which is my assignment description, was to kind of research VITA and see about the steps to bring one to the community. And so I kind of started researching it and, talked a lot about it with Dana. And we actually found Helping Hand of Hope. We spoke with them, and Gary Bohannon, who's the director here at Helping Hand of Hope, was very excited about it, and he'd actually heard about it already and was interested in bringing it to the community because he thought it would be very helpful for the clients they serve. And so meeting with them, we talked about it, and then we reached out and got in talks with the Green River Asset Building Coalition. And they really kind of helped us, took us through the steps of what was needed to set up a site, and Helping Hand of Hope is donating their space and all of the equipment, the computers, the time, all the things like that. So we got all of that set up, and then we started recruiting volunteers, and we got two great volunteers to be our site coordinators, Kendia and Kim, and once they got on board, and everyone just kind of took it away, and now they are open Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays and helping people get their taxes done.
Dana, can you talk about what exactly the program can do for our community, like who specifically it can help?
Great, that is a good question. A lot of times whenever people hear about some of the things that United Way is doing, they want to know why. Like, why is United Way getting into tax preparation? And it's really because VITA is such a great program to help working families keep the most of what they earn, which is what we want to do at United Way. We want to provide resources for families to be self-sufficient and getting, that could be saving money. It could be making sure, again, with VITA, making sure they're getting the credits that they deserve. It usually costs around $200 to get your taxes prepared, and for lower income families, that's a lot of money that can be used for groceries or to pay rent, things like that. So by being eligible to have your taxes done for free, right there is an extra $200. But more importantly, a lot of working families don't realize that they're eligible for a couple of credits. One called the Earned Income Tax Credit, the other called the Child Tax Credit. And again, these are free, not free, they're actually credits that these families are eligible for when they are working, and they can get back anywhere between $500 to $6,000 just from the EITC alone. And so many families don't realize that they're eligible for this, but our trained volunteers understand this credit and they know who's eligible, and they make sure that these families get this money back. In return, that money is used back in our community. It's used to maybe put a down payment on our car. It's used to go grocery shopping. It's used to pay rent, things like that. So this money in return gets reinvested back into our community. So not only does it help families, it also helps our community. And I recently looked at a statistic, and I think over 467,000 families and 38,000 military families in Kentucky alone in 2012 were eligible for these credits, but so many didn't realize it. So at our tax sites, this information shared with them to ensure that they're getting these credits back.
Elspeth, what exactly would a client need to bring with them to get their taxes prepared?
It's a great question, and I actually brought a list to make sure I remember it all. So the first thing that you would want to make sure that you bring is proof of identification. So you need a photo ID. You will also need social security cards, not only for you, but for your spouse, and if you have any dependents, children, things like that. You'll need to bring social security cards for everyone. You will need proof of foreign status if you are applying for an ITIN. You'll need birth dates, so you'll need to remember when you were born, for you, your spouse, and dependents on your tax return. You will need wage and earning statements, your W-2, W-2G, 1099, 1099R, or 1099 miscellaneous. So any type of work you did, you need all of those from your employers. You will need interest and dividend statements from banks. You will also need your health insurance statements, which should be the form 1095. If you are exempt from health insurance, you would need proof of that. You will need a copy of last year's federal and state returns. If you have that, that is optional. You will need proof of a bank account routing and account numbers for direct deposit, such as a blank check. That would suffice. If you are filing taxes electronically jointly with your spouse, both spouses must be there. So if you are married, bring your husband or your wife with you. You will need the total paid for daycare provider and the daycare provider's tax identifying number, such as their social security number or business employer identification number. And then you will need, I believe I already mentioned the Form 1095 if you are A, B, or C. That's something new with the Affordable Care Act. And then copies of income transcripts from the IRS and state, if those are applicable to you. So long list, but
Yes.
we have it on our website, and if you call the number for Helping Hand of Hope, they'll be able to give you the list as well for what to bring to make sure that you have everything.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, where are the VITA sites located?
So we currently have 3 sites. Well, we are the one in Hardin County with Helping Hand of Hope, but there's actually 2 other sites in the counties that we serve that are not affiliated with United Way, but we still help get the word out about. So the one here in Hardin County is here at Helping Hand of Hope. This site is actually only for Hardin County residents only, so you have to be a Hardin County resident in order to be able to come to the site here at Helping Hand of Hope. It's open Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 to 1 p.m. There's one in Breckenridge County as well at the Brett County Adult Education Center. That one's open on Fridays from 1 to 4 p.m. In Meade County, there's one at the Muldrow Community Center. That one's open Mondays and Tuesdays from 6 to 8 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 to 1 p.m. Now, all of that information, again, is on our website, which is www.unitedwayck.org. The contact numbers are on there. Contact people if you have questions, again, about what to bring, if you need an appointment. Any of that you can call anytime that they're available, or again, just go to our website for that information.
So is an appointment necessary?
Absolutely not. You can just show up. They would prefer you. Helping Hand of Hope does not take appointments at all. So if you are interested, you'll come, show up in one of those times that Dana mentioned, and they will put you in line. And if for some reason something happened and they weren't able to get you to that evening because there were too many people, you would be the first in line to come back the next time they were open.
So Dana, what does it take to become a VITA volunteer?
I'm going to do my best to talk about this, but I'm sure Elspeth will do a better job. But it's good to mention that the people that are preparing taxes, they are volunteers. They're trained volunteers that go through a training through the IRS that provides. It's free, but then we want to make sure, obviously, they're comfortable with doing taxes. So anyone that you come in contact with at a VITA site, they are volunteers. So we just ask people to keep that in mind because they're volunteering their time to help, and they do a great job. But again, we do rely on the volunteers. So if you want to volunteer specifically, I'll let Elspeth talk about what that entails. But there's two ways to learn more. One, you can give us a call at our office at United Way, 270-737-6608. Or you can contact one of the site coordinators directly, whether it's the site here in Hardin County, Breckinridge County, or in Meade County. But I'll let Elspeth talk a little bit about what it really means to volunteer, the training you have to go through, and what that entails.
So our volunteers are actually pretty phenomenal because at a minimum they complete 10 hours of training. And they do this through a website called Lincoln Learn, and it's provided by the IRS. It's a free website, like Dana mentioned, and were you to be interested in volunteering, once you had either reached out to United Way or reached out to one of the site coordinators, they would get you some information and get you set up with the online training, and you would do some like ethics and values, just to make sure that you're not going to be accepting any gifts or anything like that when you're preparing someone's taxes. Make sure everything's on the up and up. And you will also get to do some practice tax returns. So they do open book tests. It takes quite a while to get through them all, but they are preparing actual taxes and using similar software that they'll be using when they're actually preparing people's taxes to make sure that they are all ready to go and will do everything properly. And then once they complete all those hours, they'll get certificates from the IRS that shows that they are certified through the IRS, to prepare taxes. And they will provide those certificates to the site coordinator and then go ahead and start volunteering their hours and their time once at any of the hours that the site's open.
And when can people take advantage of the free tax assistance program?
So I only specifically know the hours here in Hardin County. I'm going to rely on Dana's list for the rest. But here in Hardin County, they're open Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. I think in Breckinridge County they are open only on Fridays. And then Meade County, what were the hours?
Meade County, it's Monday and Tuesday, 6 to 8 p.m. and Saturday, 9 to 1 p.m. So this year it started, most of these sites open at the end of January, and they will be open until the first part of April, I believe.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And then again next year, similar time frame.
And I should mention for the volunteers, there are different positions that you can volunteer as. So we have here in Hardin County, we have at Helping Hand of Hope, we have 2 site coordinators that they run the site. But you can also volunteer to be a tax preparer. So our site coordinators are both, but it depends on the site. You don't have to be both a tax preparer and a site coordinator. And if you're still interested in the initiative, but not quite comfortable preparing taxes, I'm not sure if I would be, you can always volunteer to be a greeter, which we always need someone to, when people are arriving, take care of the lines and make sure someone's helped when they come through the door and receive those first forms that they have to fill out to make sure that they have all the items that they need to have their taxes prepared by one of the certified tax preparers.
Now we're talking with Gary Bohannon, the Executive Director of Helping Hand of Hope here in Second Blessing, the gift shop at the front of Helping Hand of Hope. And Gary, can you tell us exactly the involvement that Helping Hand of Hope has with the VITA program?
Well, this program fits in very nicely with the program, our mission here at Helping Hand of Hope, which is to help families become more self-sufficient, low-income families become more self-sufficient. Many of the families that come in here need emergency assistance or they need help with job placement, and this fits in very nicely with helping low-income families be able to take advantage of a resource that's out there that many of them didn't realize was available, or if they did realize it was available, that they didn't have the funds to be able to have tax preparation to be able to get the earned income tax credit.
Can you tell us about how the clients you serve have been able to benefit from the VITA program?
Well, many of them are surprised to know that it was available, and then many of them also have been very pleased to find out that they were able to get the child credit and then the earned income tax credit. A lot of our folks are hardworking folks. They hold jobs, working hard hours, just trying to make ends meet, living from paycheck to paycheck. And so the fact that they have this credit out there and get refunds, some of them up into the thousands of dollars, can really make a difference. If you're just barely getting by, an extra $1,000 or $2,000 can really make a difference in the quality of life that your family experiences.
And how would you describe how the VITA program is beneficial to our community?
Well, it helps encourage families who are out there working hard. This is one of the best anti-poverty fighting programs that's been developed, one of the most successful programs. One of the reasons VITA was started is that there were a lot of families that weren't taking advantage of this. One, because it cost anywhere from $150 to $300 to have their tax prepared. And so by making this available free of charge, we're enabling families to have access to this, and this is able to increase the amount of income they have coming into their family and put them in a better position.
Great. Thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you.
Now we'll be talking with Kimberly Burns, Assistant Manager of First Citizens Bank. Kimberly, what is your role at the VITA site here at Helping Hand of Hope?
I am one of 2 site coordinators. And we do prepared returns, but have more responsibilities, making sure that they're e-filed. We do quality checks, behind some of our other preparers to make sure everything is in order. And that's pretty much it.
And why do you volunteer your time?
I actually enjoy it. I really like doing income taxes. I've done my own since I was a teenager, and I thought this was a good opportunity to come out and, branch out a little bit and see what else was out there.
What exactly did it take for you to become a site coordinator?
Online training mostly, several hours of that, and I did have to go to Owensboro one day for a whole day's training, and that was for site coordinators. So the preparers didn't have to participate in that, but that was our additional training outside of the online classes.
And why do you feel supporting United Way is important for our community?
Ever since I've started supporting United Way, I see that it's very much needed. First Citizens Bank, my employer, they support United Way a lot, and so I've been introduced to different things and was able to see some of the needs for the community. So it's needed.
And how do you feel that the VITA program has, or what exactly it has done for the community?
Well, there are several families that have come in, and I believe it's saving them money by allowing us to do their returns without having to pay $100, $200, whatever it is for a professional tax preparer.
Do you have any particular success stories?
Well, it was a lady that was in last week, actually. She had two children. She was a single mom, and she actually got over $8,000 back. And that was due to the earned income tax credit as well as the child tax. And, we were able to help her, with that. So, I think that's a pretty nice amount of return.
Sure, certainly. Now we're talking with Kendia Whobrey, the Publicist Touchpoint Solutions AstraZeneca brand representative. Kendia, what is your role here at the VITA site at Helping Hand of Hope?
Like Kim, I am also a site coordinator.
And why do you volunteer your time?
I chose to volunteer my time with the VITA program because I've been doing my own taxes since I was 18. And to be quite honest, I enjoy doing taxes. It's like a puzzle and math all combined into one, so it's kind of my sweet spot.
What exactly did it take for you to become a site coordinator?
We had some online training that we did, and then we also went to a training session in Owensboro.
And why do you feel supporting United Way is important for our community?
It's important to support United Way because they give back to the community in many different ways. You always know where your money is going with them. They put out the information, and it's really great to see the results that their work produces.
And what do you feel that the VITA program has done for our community?
Well, for many people, getting their taxes done costs $200, $300, $400, and a lot of people can't afford that. So we provide a free service with volunteers to save people that money.
And what has your experience been with the VITA site so far?
Our attendance has been great. For the first 2 weeks, we were slammed with people. We're open from 6 to 8, and the first 2 weeks we stayed till 9:30 almost every night because we just had such a demand for our services.
So have you had a lot of successes, good feedback?
We do. We've had a lot of successes, a lot of really positive feedback, a lot of really grateful, thankful people, and a lot of people who have sworn that they're going to get their friends and their family to come to us.
Any other particular success stories?
We did have one gentleman who came in on our very first night, and his wife unfortunately passed away in 2015. They'd been married for 30-something years, and she had always handled the taxes, and he was completely lost, didn't have the slightest idea how to begin. And so we sat down with him and laid out all of the necessary paperwork that he would need to bring to us, and he wound up coming back the following week, and we were able to prepare his taxes for him.
Wow. Well, great. Thank you for the work that you do, Kendia.
Thank you.
Thank you.